At 80 years young, Tom Selleck remains a towering figure in the pantheon of American entertainment, his mustache as iconic as his baritone drawl, evoking eras of Magnum, P.I. Adventures and Blue Bloods family dinners. Yet, behind the silver screen stoicism lies a man who's weathered the slings and arrows of time with a mix of Midwestern grit and Hollywood polish. Recently, however, that facade cracked just enough to alarm those closest to him, as reports emerged of a concerning weight loss that had nothing to do with disciplined diets or red carpet regimens. Instead, it was the quiet accumulation of neglect, late-night burgers, skipped workouts, and the creeping inertia of age that caught up, transforming the rugged rancher into a shadow of his former self. What followed was less a dramatic intervention than a tender reckoning, one that Selleck himself downplayed with characteristic gruffness. A lot of fuss over nothing. But in the retelling, it emerges as a poignant chapter in a life dedicated to portraying unbreakable men, revealing the very human vulnerabilities beneath. The alarm bells began tolling subtly, in the form of photographs snapped during mundane errands in Selleck's adopted home of Thousand Oaks, California. On a sun-drenched October afternoon, the actor was spotted navigating his neighborhood, arms laden with grocery bags, his stride still purposeful but his frame noticeably leaner. Gone was the robust build that had anchored roles from Hawaiian shirt-clad detectives to patriarchs at precinct tables. In its place was a gauntness that whispered of sleepless nights and solace sought in comfort foods rather than balanced plates. Insiders, those quiet guardians who orbit stars like Selleck, noted the change with growing unease. He looked like death warmed over, one confided, the phrase evoking not melodrama but a stark, visceral truth. Hygiene had slipped, untrimmed beard straggling like an unkempt hedge, clothes hanging looser than intended, and exercise, once a ritual of horseback rides across his sprawling avocado ranch, had dwindled to sporadic efforts amid a packed schedule of Blue Bloods filming and voiceover gigs. Selleck, ever the proud patriarch, bristled at the concern. "Tom's a proud guy," the source elaborated, capturing the essence of a man raised on farms and forged in the fires of 70s television, where toughness was currency. He didn't appreciate all the noise over his health and told people it was a lot of fuss over nothing. There were curt dismissals over family dinners, deflections during golf outings with old co-stars, a steadfast refusal to acknowledge what the mirror and the scale screamed. Deep down, though, the actor knew the toll. The junk food, greasy takeout after 14-hour shoots, sugary sodas nursed through script readings, had piled up like unpaid bills, exacting a revenge in the form of fatigue and frailty. Lack of movement compounded it. The physical therapy prescribed post a minor injury gathered dust, and the ranch's demands, from fence mending to horse grooming, felt increasingly Herculean. It wasn't vanity driving the denial but a lifetime's habit of soldiering on, the same impulse that had him filming through back spasms and personal losses without a murmur. The turning point came not with fanfare but with the quiet insistence of love. Selleck's wife of over 3 decades, Gilly Mack, the British-born actress whose sharp humor and steady presence have been his North Star since their 1987 nuptials, refused to let the slide continue unchecked. Joined by a small group of trusted friends, likely including fellow ranch dwellers and Blue Bloods alumni who know the man beyond the myth, they staged what was dubbed a mini-intervention. No tearful ambushes or ultimatums here. It was a gathering under the California oaks, perhaps over coffee on the porch swing, where words were chosen with the care of scene partners delivering pivotal lines. They told him this was no way to live and that he deserved to take care of himself. The insider shared, the message landing not as judgment but as a mirror held by those who cherish him most. Mac, with her background in theater and motherhood to their daughter Hannah, brought empathy laced with firmness, reminding Selleck of the legacy he was jeopardizing, not just for himself but for the family tableaus he's long presided over. The changes, when they came, were gradual, the stuff of real transformation rather than montage-ready overhauls. Fast food yields to farm-fresh salads harvested from the ranch's own plots, portions measured with an eye toward sustainability over sacrifice. Exercise re-enters the routine not as punishment but partnership. Daily walks that double as storytelling sessions with Mac, physical therapy sessions infused with the banter of a couple who's co-written life's script together. Even grooming gets a gentle reboot, a barber's touch to tame the beard, a stylist to refresh the salt and pepper coif that frames his face like a frame around a masterpiece. Over time, Tom cut back on the fast food. He's been exercising and doing physical therapy. He's even had his hair styled, which has done wonders for his confidence. The source noted, the progress charted in the subtle glow of recent photos. Cheeks fuller, eyes brighter, that trademark mustache restored to its commanding curl. This episode, downplayed by Selleck as mere fuss, illuminates the quieter battles of aging icons. Hollywood, for all its youth-obsessed veneer, harbors tales of stars who falter under the weight of their own endurance. Selleck's journey echoes those of contemporaries like Clint Eastwood, who at 95 still directs with vigor but admits to pacing himself, or Michael Douglas, whose health scares prompted re-evaluations of work-life balance. For Selleck, the ranch, bought in the 80s as a retreat from Tinseltown's glare, serves as both sanctuary and school. There, amid 65 acres of avocado groves and equestrian trails, he's learned the rhythms of renewal, how tending to soil mirrors tending to self, how a horse's steady gait can steady a restless mind. The intervention, in essence, was a return to these roots, a reminder that vulnerability isn't weakness but the soil from which strength sprouts. Looking ahead, Selleck's renewed vigor bodes well for Blue Bloods loyalists clamoring for more Reagan family lore. The series, now in its twilight seasons, has been a late career triumph, allowing Selleck to age gracefully into Frank Reagan, the commissioner whose moral compass rivals his own. Off-screen, this health pivot extends to philanthropy, expanded support for veterans' causes, tied to his magnum heroism, and family with grandkids now old enough for ranch weekends filled with s'mores and stargazing. Mac's role, pivotal and understated, deserves its own spotlight. Their marriage, a blend of intellectual sparring and silent understandings, models partnership as practice refined through decades.